Ew. Don't ask. Anyway, one of those times I went on. I found a picture of me on one of my blogs, and I saw one where I looked really tore up, and one where I had my hair done and shaved and clean face and everything. And I said, man, those look like two different people. Anyway, I just finished making some chicken. And it was good. Actually, finished making some chicken for my father. And I'm about to have, I usually don't make him dinner. I usually make him breakfast, usually. And I really just cut it down, but I just work. Anyway, but I want to talk about something that is, I'm not going to go, I don't have anything hugely philosophical to say. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time. I just want to say something about suicide. There's a lot of people who suffer from different situations, and suicide becomes a thought. It becomes this little voice in your head that just says, why don't you just kill yourself? Why don't you just why don't you just end it? Maybe that's the end of it out. And I understand it's even worse than that, because some people, in some cases, their life or situations they're dealing with, it would seem that would be a way to just make it stop. I just want it to stop, But that's not the solution, because, and I'm going to tell you, I don't know how to say this. A lot of vlogs I don't prepare for. But sometimes, people suffer from mental illnesses, from loneliness, and from guilt, and from just confusion, and things like that can just back you up, alienate you, put you in a corner, and make you think that you are completely alone. And when you think you are absolutely alone and have no help whatsoever, and you can't see a way out, that suicide seems to be an option. When it's not. Let me just say this. Lots of times, the thing about faith and the things like that, it's like, when I'm on a project, sometimes I just don't know a better situation. I keep trying something, and it's not working. I keep trying this, and I try this, and I try it. And I keep trying. Absolutely exhausted. Now, for some people like Einstein, trying something 1,000 times is not a problem. But after about 500 times for me, I become weary. And it's not fun, and it's difficult, and it's painful, and you become frustrated and emotional. But you never know when the next one is going to work. So you keep trying. Now again, people like that, like Einstein or Edison, they just have a big mentality of, you have to do something 1,000 times before you even think about getting it work. And actually in a lot of places in art, they say your first ideas are cliche. But I digress. What I'm trying to say is, you never know. You never know what's going to happen the next day. You never know how things are going to turn around. You never know how things are going to settle themselves, how they're going to clear up, how what you thought was a huge problem, if you keep on living, sometimes the solution doesn't come right away. And you got to know how to say, look, this is a problem. I don't understand it. It's confusing. I don't know how it's going to work out, but I'm just going to stand. I'm just going to not do nothing. I'm just, I've done all I can, And I'm just going to turn it over to God. I'm just going to let Him handle it. I'm just going to trust in Him. I'm just going to just hold on to that. It's going to be okay. It's going to be all right. I like that. I like that. It's going to be all right. Just that one piece of word, or sometimes hearing somebody else telling you it's going to be all right. And somebody sang it one time. They said, all right, all right. It's going to be, you know, they go to church, they say, it's going to be all right. But what I'm saying is you don't know what you don't know. If you hold on, things are mostly darkest before dawn. And if you just hold on and just not going to move, I'm just going to stay here, I'm just going to, you know, until my victory comes, until my deliverance comes, until things get better. You don't have to know the answers. You don't have to know. You don't have to make a decision. You don't have to move. You don't have to do something rash. You know, lots of times we don't know what we don't know. That's huge. That's a huge thing. We don't know what we don't know. We don't know how the situation is going to come out. It might be better and more beautiful. You might just be going through a birthing pain for something else. Something so stupendous that you can't even imagine. You just never know how God is going to turn things around. You don't know what you don't know. But He knows everything. So when He's been there and He's felt your pain. I like how Yolanda Adams says there's no pain that Jesus can't feel. You know, there's no sadness. There's nothing on this planet that He doesn't already know about. I don't care what kind of thing. A buddy of mine, and I'm not gonna say his name, so I think I should be okay. He had dealt with some issues, homosexuality, and it disturbed. Let me say it like this. I've known a number of people who have gone through issues and the guilt, and they don't understand how they feel. They don't know why they feel the way they feel. They just know that they do. Or, they just don't know. Or sometimes, people get involved in that because of other bad situations. I know a woman who was raped one time, and she wanted to be happy, but she could never be with a man again. She decided not to be homosexual, this particular woman. But a lot of people do get involved with that because of that reason. And then they have to deal with all the other rejections and stuff like that. I understand that happens, and that those are circumstances that come about in certain cases. In some cases, it's completely different. But, there's so much guilt and shame tossed on you for the way you feel and the way and even if you don't understand it, but there's so much, and so some people can't live with it. Some people can't bear it. I know people who have gone homosexual and have been crazy. It has just practically drove them crazy. You shouldn't feel guilty, because nobody is better than you. And if you ever go to church, the first thing, ain't nobody in that church got there because they was holy. They got there because they were sinners. Christians, I don't care what. The reason why they there, you might see them now, they might be better. But you didn't see them when they were laid out in the street drunk and vomiting on themselves or what have you. Or sleeping in a van, or falling down. Just because they got it now don't mean they always were that way. But the thing that they did do was hung around until their deliverance came. Hung around and believed and kept faith. And that's what I'm saying. Jesus came and He says, I came to give you life and life more abundantly. This one guy said something, Z333, I forgot his name. He said, one of the best ways to deal with your problem is not to deal with your problems, but deal with somebody else's. help somebody else. You know, that often helps you to, get your mind off of your program. And actually, one way is die to self. If you want to, and I said, best way you want to kill yourself, best way is just die to yourself and live for others. Live for others. My mom told me one time I was playing with her. I said, I got so mad at her. I played a game with her. I said, "Oh, I'm gonna kill myself." She said, "You ain't gonna hurt nobody but yourself." She said, "You fool! You ain't gonna hurt nobody but yourself." And she said, "And you're right. It hurt." I wouldn't. But you never know. I know some real gentleman that has been through some real tough pain. And my neighbor across the street committed suicide a few years back. I think he got AIDS or something like that. I don't know for certain, but it was a reality that he couldn't live with. He couldn't process. But in those situations, if you could just hold on, and let God have the last word, not for you to take the last word in your hands, because when you have God give you the last word, His last word is forgiveness. His last word is deliverance, hope, and victory. And that's what you got to hang in there for. So praise God. Love you all. And I'll talk to you soon.